It began on a Tuesday afternoon, one of those unremarkable days you never expect to remember. I was in our bedroom, rummaging through my wife's nightstand in search of a pen. She often kept random bits of stationery there, so I didn't think much of it. My fingers brushed against a small cardboard box buried beneath a pile of old receipts and a hairbrush. Absent-mindedly, I pulled it out, half smiling at the idea it might be a forgotten gift or surprise. The smile vanished the instant I saw what it was, a box of condoms. Confusion hit me first. We hadn't used protection in years. After our second child, we'd agreed birth control was unnecessary. A cold rush crept up my neck as I turned the box over in my hands. The seal was broken. One condom was missing. Excuses tumbled into my head. Maybe she bought them for some odd reason, maybe a friend had left them here. But deep down, my gut told me the truth wasn't going to be innocent. I placed the box back exactly where I'd found it. I didn't want her to know I'd seen it. Not yet. I needed time to think, to watch, to see if she would reveal herself. That night at dinner, I barely heard a word she said. She was laughing about a coworker's mistake, but I was studying her. Her eyes, her mouth, her hands, searching for cracks. Every laugh felt rehearsed, every smile tinged with guilt. When she reached across the table to touch my hand, I felt a strange mix of longing and revulsion. I wanted to believe she wouldn't betray me, but that box in the drawer said otherwise. By bedtime, she was more affectionate than usual, resting her head on my shoulder, brushing her lips against my neck. It should have felt good. Instead, it felt staged, like a curtain of warmth meant to hide something. When she finally drifted to sleep beside me, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. One missing condom wasn't undeniable proof, but it was the first thread. And I intended to pull until the whole thing unraveled. When I stepped into the living room the next day, I froze. Derek was sitting on my couch, sipping from my coffee mug as though he owned the place. My wife stood nearby, her face pale, eyes darting between us. I hadn't seen him in years, an old acquaintance she once swore she barely knew. But his presence in my home shattered the last illusion I'd been clinging to. I didn't shout. I simply scanned the room, a coat slung casually over the armchair, the faint cologne that wasn't mine, the way she avoided my gaze. Suddenly, months of her coldness, the excuses about late nights at work, they all snapped into place. My stomach churned. She didn't know that an hour earlier, while she was at the store, I had found the text messages on her phone. She didn't know that coming home early from work wasn't by chance, it was deliberate. I had wanted to see it for myself. And now here we were, three people in a room thick with betrayal, waiting for someone to speak first. The weeks after Derek's arrest were eerily quiet. No more whispered phone calls in the dark. No more suspicious notifications lighting up her screen. 2 days later, she packed her things and left, muttering half-hearted apologies without meeting my eyes. I didn't ask where she was going. That chapter was closed, and I had no interest in reopening it. My lawyer assured me the divorce would be swift given the circumstances. For once, the law was on my side. Friends tried to rally around me with drinks, distractions, and forced laughter. But I didn't want noise. I wanted space, space to breathe, to think, to feel the weight of 19 years finally lift from my chest. At first, waking to an empty side of the bed hurt like hell. But over time, that emptiness began to feel like something else. Freedom. The kind you only recognize when you finally taste it. Months later, I stood in the same living room where everything had fallen apart. Sunlight streamed through the windows. The furniture was new, the walls freshly painted, the air lighter, as if the house itself had exhaled. I had turned the garage into a small woodworking shop. There was something deeply calming about shaping rough, raw wood into something solid and beautiful, like rebuilding myself piece by piece. I wasn't ready to date again, and maybe I wouldn't be for a long time. But I was ready to live again, and that was enough. Through mutual friends, I occasionally heard she was struggling. Derek was serving time, and her attempts to settle into a new life had fizzled. I didn't gloat. I didn't smile at her misfortune. But I also didn't feel the need to rescue her. She had made her choices. I had made mine. One evening, as the sun dipped low and the scent of fresh sawdust filled the air, I realized something simple but profound. I wasn't angry anymore. Not at her, not at Dererick, not at the 19 years that ended the way they did. They were what they were, and now they were gone. I stepped outside, the cool breeze brushing against my face. For the first time in a long time, I felt truly at peace. The past no longer owned me. The future was wide open. And as I closed the door behind me, I knew I was finally ready to walk into it. If you'd like, I can also break this into well-paced chapters so it reads like a polished short story or novella.